Truly, it is good to have guests again. Since Lord Jiskel passed away, these halls have been too quiet.
Hey, Carl, have you heard about Updog?
Yes.
Fantastic. This is the Every FNF podcast.
What's up, Chris?
Yeah. Oh, not too much. So you know how oh, my gag's gone. I had it in my head and it's gone.
Curtis,
one year ago, we were covering a humble game called Final Fantasy VII, and we thought we were the only people in the world talking about this game.
First of all, we're surprised that anybody had heard of it.
Not a whole lot of people have played or talked about Final Fantasy VII.
So imagine what our podcast would be like if there was any kind of expertise in it,
like research.
Yeah, but no one's done
and
that.
Good takes.
yeah. Somebody weave this plot thread together for me, please. I've just completely shat the bed.
That's
cranially.
It's totally fun. Well, we have a guest this week.
Thank you.
If you haven't guessed by now or saw in our Discord that
or the episode title,
or the episode title, or the role that was given to our guest in the Discord that was immediately sleuthed out by someone in the Discord, is like, why does Erin have future enemy as a role? And we're like, well, we got Erin from Those Who Fight.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on. This is a really
Oh
exciting.
my God, thank you for having me.
Thank you for
I'm
not
honored.
hanging up immediately after that train wreck of an intro.
I know.
I don't know what's up with you.
Hey! It all came back around.
Updog
God,
is
yeah,
my
my
overdrive.
What?
I said Updog is my overdrive.
Ah, there you go. So yeah, it's kind of like a peanut butter and chocolate together at last, right? It's like the
East
two
Coast,
great
West Coast.
Oh my God, East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
So we're bringing back the rivalry.
Yeah, so I guess no pressure.
You're LL Cool J and we're Cool Mo D.
I wanted to be Tupac.
That's fine. Did Tupac West Coast?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
then, all right.
It works because Aaron's also here virtually.
Absolutely. I have a friend who arrested Tupac twice.
Holy shit.
Well, not the friend, but my friend's dad arrested Tupac. Sorry.
Holy shit.
I was about to ask you to introduce yourself. But that's way cooler.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you introduce? Can you introduce these other people?
But yeah, besides doing an awesome podcast, you're also dabbled in game dev and stuff, right?
Yeah. I'm working on. I'm part of a 3-person indie team working on a visual novel / point-and-click adventure game.
Oh, I love it.
That is about space pirates.
Love it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Working with 2 former Telltale employees.
Ooh.
One of whom I live with.
Ooh.
One of whom I used to be married to.
Ooh.
Who does the Final Fantasy VII podcast with me. I don't know if you know him, but Alan is
Alan.
my other writing partner.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah. I do that. I used to do games journalism back in the day.
So way more qualified than we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I work in medical marijuana now.
So way more qualified than we are.
We're just a bunch of dummy musicians. Now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, me and Alex were like, we're in a No Doubt cover band together. Surely that means our skills transfer over to talking about professionally about video games. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
What's the name? What's the name of your No Doubt cover band?
Was it No Don't?
Yeah.
It was No Don't. I think how many shows?
So good.
How many shows did you guys play?
We only ever did 3, I think. But
I think we did 2.
we wanted to do more, but fucking coronavirus.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
This
Yeah.
Halloween, whatever. Yeah, it was fun.
I think I've been to 2 of those shows, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
That
very
was fun.
good.
It was a good time.
But that's all far and gone.
yeah.
We're here in Guadosalam.
Yeah.
We're in a big tree.
Actually, you know what? While we're on the subject, how about you tell us your experience with Final Fantasy and maybe 10? You said in the
Right.
chat with us earlier that you have an interesting relationship with 10.
I wouldn't go so far as to say interesting, but I guess adversarial.
Even better.
10 was like the game. Okay, so I've always been a Final Fantasy fan. 4 was my first one.
Yeah.
7's
Sorry.
my favorite. Final Fantasy Tactics is the best one.
Hell yeah.
But no, I remember I was because I was pumped for like 8, and then I was like viscerally annoyed by it.
Fair.
Yeah,
I've come,
fair.
okay, I've come back around. Like I've softened significantly on 8. And then 9, I have like mixed feelings about. I don't like it as much as I want to. But then 10 came out, and I remember the first cutscene of the game. I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna buy 10. This is my last one. This is the last Final Fantasy I'm gonna buy. If it sucks, I'm done. And the first cutscene rolled with like the Blitzball and the butt rock.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, I have been fucked again. I swear to God, Final Fantasy, you've done it to me again.
Well, I feel like you're in good company here with
like-
that.
What the? Yeah, no. Initially I hated it. I did beat it. There's things that I liked about it then, and then I never played it again until like last year. But I have a friend, one of my roommates, does not play video games. Like, she really only plays Animal Crossing, and like otherwise is not a
Good
big
games.
fan. Yeah, good games. Animal Crossing
emotionally
and
taxing.
Katamari are the only
There we
games that
go.
she plays.
Hell yeah.
Well, Katamari is kind of like FF10 in a way. If you think about giant ball destroying cities.
She loves Final Fantasy X, and she loves Final Fantasy X too. And I'm like, why of all of the Final Fantasies is this the one that came across your radar and like piqued your interest enough to actually like, this is the only RPG you've ever played? Like, can you imagine this being the only RPG you've ever played?
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me psychologically.
I think you
So
know
I was
what?
like,
I
yeah.
think that there are a lot of
Okay.
people who fall into that category because before we played it, I guess before we started talking about it for the podcast, like I've played it before, and I said before that it was not my favorite by any means
Yeah.
or whatever. But I do know that there's a lot of people who like this is like either the
Love
one
it.
they were introduced to, love
Yeah.
it, or it's like the
Yeah.
only one that they've played. So I was like, oh man, everybody's gonna stop listening to us as soon
Yeah,
as we start
yeah.
talking about it. And be like,
That's the thing is I've come around to it in a lot of ways. Like I re-experienced it through someone else's eyes kind of last year when the 10 HD came out, and my roommate started playing it, and she's playing it in the living room on my TV. So of course I'm like, every time I walk in there, I'm like, oh, what part are you in? Okay, cool. I guess I'll watch. First of all, the 10 HD, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what a good remaster. Holy crap. But no, I started enjoying watching her play it. I'm like, I'm starting to see it. And
Yeah.
10-2 is really slept on.
yeah, agreed. 10-2 has one of the best battle systems.
It's
like
such a good battle system. Oh my god.
it's so snappy. It's so
I'm
good.
a real sucker for a job system, and it is like it's a really
I
good
know.
job system.
I know. Well,
I'm already
we'll keep
excited.
you in mind for that season too. yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
I guess that's pretty much the background with 10. Is I've enjoyed it more through other people's eyes than my own.
Yeah, that's fair.
I had a hard time getting on top. I mean, I think I mentioned this like beginning of the season. I had a hard time. I can see why
Yeah.
people like maybe be turned off. It's kind of. I keep comparing it to like Star Wars prequels. Like it just has this kind of like where it's just like they're like, okay, it's the first time they're doing this. They're trying out this like voice acting thing and like going all out on this like, and also like new character designer and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's just it's very different and very loud in a very specific way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more jarring to people who had prior experience with the series
Mhm.
than with
Yeah.
people who this was their first one.
Yeah,
probably so.
And I know from my personal experience, the first one I played was 8, and that was like the first RPG that wasn't like Pokemon that I played.
Mm.
And I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. Then I went back and played 7, and I was like, oh my god, I see why people say this is the best game of all time.
Yeah.
And then I went to Kingdom Hearts because I was like, oh, my friends from Final Fantasy are in this game. This is probably good. And I was like, I hate this.
God damn it. Okay, hold on. Real quick aside. That was the joke I was going to tell at the beginning of the fucking podcast. God damn it.
We're still at
I
the
was going to be
beginning,
like
buddy.
Kingdom Hearts. You take 2 great IPs and you smash them together. That was the gag. So everybody listening, imagine that I made that joke,
then
but
by
instead
the-
of Disney and Final Fantasy, it was every FNFF and those who fight. You put them together. It's a good joke.
Oh man, which one of us is Disney and which of us is Final Fantasy?
Well, that means by like the third season, it's just going to be them, and none of us are going to be left.
yeah. It's a
I hate
hostile
Kingdom Hearts
takeover.
so much. I would love to play that. With you guys. Like,
I love talking about things we hate.
I'm an avowed Kingdom Kingdom Hearts hater.
So
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think I like bounced off of Kingdom Hearts pretty quickly, and then I was like, oh, let me try Final Fantasy X, and it was like better in my opinion than Kingdom Hearts, but I also kind of just was like, it took me too much to get into. So
Yeah.
It's weird that the only Final Fantasy character that's left is Donald Duck.
I did
the
end
bad
up,
guy from FF7.
I did end up going back and beating Kingdom Hearts 1 and enjoying it and thinking
Yeah.
it was fine, but I was also like
Yeah.
very pissed that Sora was like able to defeat like Squall and Cloud and Sephiroth. I'm like, that's bullshit.
Best thing about that game, soundtrack.
Yeah, it's got a very good soundtrack.
Yeah, good soundtrack.
I hate the soundtrack.
What? Wild take.
I do like
That's all right.
I do like all 29 versions of Dearly Beloved. That's just pretty much the same.
Oh my god.
So, Guadosalam. It's a town. It's a place.
That's a lot of slang.
It's
It's a state of mind.
It's a state of mind.
It's a state of mind. Yeah. I think Jay-Z's saying about it, like Guadosalam
Yeah.
state of mind.
Yeah, Guadosalam state of mind.
Wait, is there a good Alicia Keys joke I can make here? No, it's not there. I was like, does any character's name rhyme with either Alicia or Keys? And I was like, no. I guess
Alicia Keys Mari?
not. All right, I'll take it.
Hey,
I'll take it.
no,
That's a
that's good.
stretch.
No, that's good.
You know, stretch is good sometimes. It's good to limber good to limber your gags up.
Doing our pregame aerobics here.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we got a full party, I guess.
Full party finally. Yeah.
Finally.
Minus
yes.
Seymour.
Like we like we were alluding to last time, and I'll only say it once so our listeners don't get confused if they don't know. If you have played Dark Souls, this is the Great Hollow.
Yeah.
But if you haven't played Dark Souls, how should we describe it?
Looks like kind of the same like layout as like Zora's Domain from Zelda Ocarina of Time. I can only
It
think of
looks
this
like
in
these other
terms-
things.
Yeah, these other games.
But it's tree shaped, so it's like a Deku tree.
yeah. It's
We're inside of I guess a big tree. Is that?
It's very like, yeah, I think they're going for kind of a high elf kind of vibe, right?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Woodland elf. The music's really interesting. Really ethereal and shimmery, and I was just noticing it because I was capturing the background ambience, which is also very ominous and whooshy. And
Yeah.
go check our YouTube for that.
Yeah.
Or just turn down the music on your slider.
Yeah.
You don't need me.
Yeah, but it's kind of neat. It's like the inside is how to say it, made of like
Tree bark.
tree bark, bundles of vines and branches form walkways and things.
Yeah.
But also the Guado have built in like houses to the side of it.
So it's
right?
like Ewok Village.
I was gonna say yeah.
Yeah, but like very ornamental. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like, well, it's like marble or like bright colors. You know
Right.
what I mean? To all
So-
their entrances.
Stained glass?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Endor meets Naboo.
Yeah, yeah, right, yeah. And as soon as we walk in, a very tall man approaches us.
I never noticed how long the Guado arms are,
They're very long.
and very
Oh
large.
man, I really noticed them.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
I have like a weird thing about elongated limbs. Did you guys play Dead Space?
Yes.
Oh, that freaked the shit out of me. Like,
Yeah.
I watched Nosferatu when I was really little, and like the elongated fingers has
Yeah.
become like a phobia. of mine.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh my god, they weird me out.
Or the castles in the sky robots kind of give me a little, they're a little creepy in that same way.
Ugh.
So
Yeah.
Slender Man walks up to it. So this guy's name, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now, is
Trommel.
Trommel.
Yeah.
And I can't tell if I really like Trommel or really don't like Trommel. He's like, I don't know what to think about him because I kind of like him because he seems almost like this is gonna be a very rude way to say it, but almost like a patsy in some way. like he seems like
Best intentions.
best intentions, well-meaning individual.
Like, yeah, believes what he's being sold, which is probably not good.
It's hard, yeah. It's like I think I like him. I think I
Yeah.
like Trommel. Yeah.
It was like throughout this whole thing, like there's a lot, and we're gonna get into it in more like specific detail, but there's a lot that's like going on that he's kind of alluding to.
Yeah.
That you're like, I wasn't sure if it's like, oh, he actually believes this and like believes that what he's doing is good, or what he's like talking about is good,
Yeah.
or he's like trying to get one over on us.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
There is the FFX2 stuff that we'll get to eventually, but yeah. So this Guado Trommel walks up to us, very long arms, very long fingernails, and he says,
We have been expecting you, Lady Yuna. Welcome to Guadosalam.
And he's immediately just like, this way, and like goes to like lead her by the hand or something, and Waka like grabs his arm, and he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Which, like, good call on Waka. I feel like this is like some real Guardian shit. Waka's finally
Hands
like,
off
whoa.
the merchandise.
I do like too that like in the screenshot of it, it kind of looks like they're just doing like the intense kind of handshake that some people do, where they like grab each other by the arms. And
You son of a bitch.
But yeah,
he introduces himself and says that he is in direct service of our great leader, the great Seymour Guado.
that's the other thing too. I don't like when people refer to their bosses as our great leader.
Yeah.
It's always like a very tip of the hat thing where I'm like,
Yeah.
something is afoot.
The Democratic People's Republic of Guadosalam.
But yeah, he says Seymour's been expecting us.
Yeah.
And like we're like, what does Seymour want? Why, like, because like thus far, I mean, I suppose like Seymour has been incredibly shady, but has not like directly interfered with us in any way or anything, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Come experience this devastating, like,
yeah, I mean,
this horrible like battle.
yeah, but at least he didn't ask us to do anything directly. That was just kind of like we were
we
there.
helped.
Yeah,
Like,
we helped, but he was just like, "Yo, you want to see some shit?" Like, oh, why would you
Yeah.
show me
Once the
that?
tiger got loose, we had to get rid of it. Like,
And that
it would be
one-
fucked if
I
we
showed
were-
you my devastation. Answer me.
And that one was more so like he didn't like ask us along for that. I don't think it was kind of just like we had to get through. And he's like,
Well-
"Hey, this thing's going on. I can let you pass."
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. And then like, well, we were gonna walk along the road, and then class goes like, "Oh, by the way, Maester Seymour said you have to go this way
Yeah.
and go see him." I'm like,
Yeah.
he just seems a little needy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big red flag for our relationship.
If a guy asks you to go to battle with him, just say no.
But yeah, he says your friends are welcome to come with, and then we all start walking toward the back area, which is where Seymour's house is, I guess, his manor. But Riku stops us, right? So it's just like she
Well,
kind
it's
of
just
pulls us
you
aside.
and it's just Titus and Riku right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're like at the end of the group.
Yeah, and then she explains that we can now customize our equipment.
Hell yeah.
And now Final Fantasy either becomes good or bad, depending on how you see it. Because, like, I do love me customizing some shit. I do fucking hate the amount of grinding that it takes to customize shit late in this game.
Yeah.
Like, you remember how, like, we were really annoyed by the Chocobo, like, minigame, the breeding in FF7, and we were like, this is stupid and bad.
Yeah.
It's that, but it takes, like, 10 times longer.
Oh God.
This is actually when the game got good for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I can finally do stuff.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
I have a full party and I can customize my equipment. Like, okay, I can tough the rest of this game out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to it might have been last week that we were talking about it with like the Aeons, where you can start
Yeah.
customizing them and everything, and it's like, oh shit, like now it's starting to feel more like an RPG.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh shit, we can also do that with our weapons, like that. I think this looks really cool.
Yes,
Yeah, I was like, this is tight.
It's nice as someone who does not really use RPGs, the way they kind of they keep it pretty simple for a lot of the game, and then they start kind of giving, okay, now that you're comfortable with this, let's like open up some extra doors for you so you can get real precise.
I'm
with-
surprised how much how patient they were with rolling out different features in this game. Like, we're a good way through the game now.
We're in like we're at end of Act 3, beginning of Act 2, you would say?
What?
all the way around.
Yes.
No, I would say okay. Well, it's kind of weird. I guess I don't know if 10 fits into a 3-act structure super well.
I feel like it's more like a 4.
Yeah, it's like a 4-act thing. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And if it was 4, we're at the end of 2 and on the beginning of 3, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like, I mean, we'll get there when we get there.
I
But
think
like,
if this is a halfway point, almost.
it is. I think it's a halfway point. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like right there. Which again, I think it's kind of interesting to roll out like a very necessary feature halfway into the game.
Halfway through the goddamn
Yeah,
game.
and be
Yeah.
like this thing the whole time where you've been like, why are there more ability slots on all of my weapons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
we'll
good, I
explain
can play
that.
the game now.
Yeah. And I will say this, just like every Final Fantasy, it does open the way for some abuse at this point. So, like, I don't know if we really can get real nasty with it right now, but like, there are some good weapon and armor combinations.
Straight into Auto Phoenix.
yeah, right into Auto Phoenix, just automatic
there.
revive whenever anything happens. You can there's Auto Potion, And if I remember right, if you don't have any potions, they'll just default to high or X potions. So you can just make it so that every time you get hit, you automatically throw like a potion that heals you back up all the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's nasty. It's incredible. Some real grody strats here.
Yeah, and throughout the tutorial as well, like it seems like this just makes like Riku even more of a like kick-ass character to have.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that you're using to customize is stuff that she'll steal.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and it's like the stuff that she can also use for her overdrive, where she like combines things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Not having Riku in your party is just I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's the greatest handicap is not to have Riku. Yeah. But right in front of us is the inn, and so I went there first.
You can tell by this. It's right in the front.
Yeah, you can tell by the sign on the front of it that says inn.
It says Nini.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. But Shalinda's in here, so like we were saying last week, where she was like, "Oh, I think I might go visit the Guado," and I guess she did.
She seems better now.
Yeah, it does look like she's like back into the swing of things, so good for her. She's also like, I don't want to say simping for Seymour, but like, she's like, oh, he's a great leader and deserves our respect. Yeah, but the most important character of Final Fantasy X is here as well.
Hell fucking yeah! I didn't realize that it was him until I started talking to him. And I was like, oh hell yeah!
It's Machen time, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Do you want to read one of the? Do you have the script, Erin?
Yeah.
Do you want to read one of them? Do your best Machen.
Oh yeah. This was. I remember his speech about the far plane and the pyreflies. Maybe not. Who knows?
That's the fucking. I love that so
was good.
much.
Yeah, I absolutely love Mitch.
Yeah.
He may be the best side character in the game.
Dude, I love FFX too. He's in that one as well, and like, what it does is he's like, oh, do you want to hear about a thing? And if you say yes, there's no like text boxes. It's like Titus's narration kind of thing or whatever. And the camera just like zooms in and out real slow, and you see like all the characters just like looking off to the side, and like Riku will just leave and like go somewhere else. And if you hit any buttons like at all, you have to touch no buttons. And if you hit anything, Yuna's like, "We have to go." It just stops him like right in the middle.
Yeah, this reminds me of an ex I had whose dad was obsessed with history and would just start spouting, just like start telling me about some war, and like just like I just take it.
Did he have
I do that to friends of mine.
Do you
have time to listen to some Ukrainian history? Because if not, that's a pity.
I do.
We gave Machen his own channel on the Discord so that he starts flooding the general channel.
First of all, was it Alex? Was it you? Did you make an urban planning channel?
Yeah, urban planing.
Urban planing.
Oh, is that what? I was like, disgusting. The joke was he never would get it.
I've just clicked on the urban planning.
What a champ. What a good dude.
But yeah, we talked to Machen.
Yeah, and we can say, tell me about the far plane, or tell me about the fireflies. So do you want to tell us about the far plane, Erin?
Oh yeah,
or the fireflies,
far
your
plane?
choice.
Yeah.
The place where fireflies born from ascending gather.
Hell yeah.
Quite the phenomenon. How I wish I understood it more fully. Yeah. This is where he's talking about the Albed, their theory on they just react to visitors' dreams / hang-ups.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where you see the dead but no image of the living. It's a great mystery. The far plane is really interesting to me, honestly. Like, this is actually the part of the lore that interests me.
Yeah, no, the far plane seems really fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Albed have a theory that's just like a bunch of hocus pocus, like those fake like psychics that speak to the dead.
Yeah.
They just bounce off of you projecting your own memory.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I meant. It was like,
yeah, I was like, there's
only,
certainly something happening in the far plane, right?
Yeah, but whether or not it's mystical is that the Albed, it's basically like it's just psychic trickery.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Only what you take with you.
Right. I do like that this is a thing in the game, though, because like
I always thought the far plane was like a metaphorical, like not
like,
actual physical place. Like, no, we can just we're passing by it
like
on
the
our way through.
outer side or whatever it is.
I thought it was like the heavy side layer.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, I was like, okay, live stream, got it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But it's a place that you can actually like stop by And
You
Whoa,
only-
Farplane is a place on Earth.
Spira.
Yeah, right.
So the far plane is where dead people go, but only if they're sent by a summoner
Right.
Yeah.
and they accept that they're dead.
Right.
Yeah.
so it's like a purgatory, but you're cool with it.
Yeah, like only if you're a restless spirit, you don't go to the far plane. Where the fuck do you go?
I guess
We,
now.
we got to watch all of
Fiend?
the
You become a
90s
fiend?
the 90s
Oh, yeah,
Casper.
yeah, yeah.
That's true. We do need to watch all of the 90s movie Casper to really dive into this and how it all works.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, I guess I'll see you guys later. No, I don't want to watch Casper.
Maybe the dead leave a bit of themselves in the hearts of the living. And that little bit borrows the Firefly's power for their paranormal performance. Or maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
Or maybe
The
not.
delivery of it is so good too because he's, just doing the whole like long-winded, really detailed and like passionate explanations and he's just like, or maybe not, who knows? Like,
Yeah.
and then he finishes it with his like
And that's,
classic line.
Yeah, right.
and that's as they say, is that?
It's so good.
He also provides a explanation of the fireflies, and then his very first thing he's like, "They're not really flies at all." Ooh.
Curious.
But yeah, they're the things we've been seeing every time we kill a fiend, right? Like we see those little energy balls come out of them.
Yeah.
And I guess we saw
Flower
those on the
petals.
Moonflow too.
I always thought it
Yeah.
was like flower petals.
Well, they're flies. Well, not flies. Major
Well, they're
salts.
flies, but they're not really flies.
Yeah, they're not really
Did
flies.
you even listen to May Chan?
Maybe, maybe not.
We also said after Operation Meehan, I remember Carl, you were saying you were like, a lot of these dead bodies have those fucking like orbs around them. Are they becoming fiends?
Yeah.
Or whatever. So I guess like people also which like if they appear immediately when something dies, it does like lend credibility to the idea that they are like a tangible manifestation of a soul or something, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like as
Yeah.
much as like we don't know like is the far plane actually linked to the afterlife or something? Like there's physical reason I think at this point to believe that fireflies are somehow related to that, right?
It's just compost.
Just air compost.
Fireflies are just wiggly air.
He says visions of the past, spheres and fiends. These are all the fireflies doing. In fact, they have something to do with aeons too. The dreams of the faith reach through the spirit of the summoner, and that which is unreal becomes real for all to see. Or maybe not. Who knows? But like, so I guess like fireflies are just like a method of making a thing tangible, I suppose. Because like, is that what like is what he's saying that aeons are like a bunch of fireflies gathering based off of a summoner's wishes and thoughts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it's a manifestation of of magical thinking.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
I think I can't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure if you like defeat an Aeon or your Aeon gets defeated, don't fireflies come out of it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. You also mentioned like I think the Kilika temple. They were talking about like where aeons come from, right?
They're like, the soul that was taken from a still living body or whatever.
Yeah.
And those are the faith. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Wild. Real crazy shit here. I do like that like Guadosalam does seem to like tread that line between like the uber mystical and the
It's all science,
sensical.
baby.
Yeah.
Magnets.
But yeah, so that's all the interesting things to talk about in the end, I would say. But
Yeah, there's a Guado there who's saying that they're helping the Crusader monks and also or not the Crusader monks, the warrior monks, and if the Crusaders come back, they would like to help them as well.
yeah.
So basically,
yeah.
more of just that, like, oh, we're gonna bring together the
Yeah.
different factions.
Now I do like that like there are many Guado in this town, like both outside and inside the little houses or whatever, who all like share a very similar sentimentality where they're like, humans suck ass, and so do all of your other races, but it's okay, you're weaker, so we'll be friends with you because we have to.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
sigh.
the supreme race of Spira.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think
yeah,
they
they're like-
literally call themselves the Supreme Race.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is always a
in
good
the
sign.
Guado Glory's house, there's that guy who's we're the sole protectors of the far plane, and we're fundamentally different from the populous humans, as in y'all fuck a lot,
Yeah.
and the whole King Ronso.
Just
Yep.
absolutely no red flags there. at
No,
all.
and also no parallels to real life. at
Yeah,
all.
of course.
No.
Yeah, absolutely
No.
not.
I can't think of, a country in Europe where maybe their leaders said they were like, oh, the problem with these countries is that they breed too much.
Yeah, right.
No.
That didn't happen.
Totally not.
No.
There's no politics in video games.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
No politics in Final Fantasy games.
I will tell you what I do like is the two old Guado talking to each other.
Oh, the old fart and the old
old-
fartus.
Yes, yeah. Fartes, yeah.
Fartus is the
Yeah.
greatest word I've ever heard.
But I like that there's like a young Guado near them, and he's like, look, don't even worry about talking to those two. They just speak the old tongue. And like the old tongue is just like for us Shakespearean English, where they're like thou.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just throw in some
Whoa.
prithys.
Yeah. Pray tell. Like, ooh. Oh, let's see, what do they say here?
Well, they say, thou seems wary, good traveler. Would sit and rest thy feet a while?
Yeah.
Belike my speech perplexes thee. 'Tis old Guado I speak. The tongue seldom heard within even Guadosalam now.
Yeah.
Oh, the old tongue of just, yeah, like...
This is like that old person that bitches that people don't know how to write in cursive anymore. How are you going to read the Constitution?
Yo, there's someone like, I think I saw someone post like a TikTok challenge, like, write your name without like lifting your pencil. Like, dude, you just reinvented cursive.
Yeah.
I remember when I worked at GameStop, there was, anytime someone traded in games, you had to have them sign for it. And if there was ever like younger kids or something, like 13-year-olds trying to give their games in and stuff, I was like, okay, I just need you to sign here. And they would always go, like in cursive? I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, like-
Just write your name. It doesn't matter.
Dude, I make $7 an hour. I'm just going to turn around.
I make $7 an hour, and they put it on a prepaid like debit card thing. That's just a huge
oh
scam.
my, did they still? Oh my god! I also worked at GameStop. That was my first job.
Yeah.
When I was like 17, and minimum wage in Texas, which is where I was at the time, was $4.25.
Jesus.
Yeesh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh. Did they use the Comdata cards then?
they did. That's
Ugh.
nuts, man. I figured surely that was like, God, that seems so shady.
Yeah, it was.
And I get paid in cash now, and that doesn't seem shady to me. But I'm like, prepaid debit card, get out of here with that shit.
It was so fucking weird. It sucked. And
Yeah.
yeah, you couldn't take
Terrible
out
job.
you couldn't take out like exact amounts. It was like you had to charge either the exact amount that you had on your card, or
Yes, and you couldn't go over.
Yeah, you couldn't go
What?
over and stuff. So
Yeah.
it, like literally, I still have like probably like $3 and some change, probably $3.11.
Somewhere's $3 GameStop stole from me.
Yeah, exactly. Like literal wage theft.
So upsetting.
It's insane.
Fuck you, GameStop.
And you couldn't. I was like, oh, can I just set up direct deposit? They're like, you can
No.
set up direct deposit, but you have to be working here for a month before you do. And they made it like really difficult too.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked there for like 3.5 years because I didn't know any better and I was a
Yeah.
child.
Will someone please stop the games.
Yeah, they've done a really shitty game. They've done a really shitty job of stopping the games.
Yeah.
If anything, the games have gotten even more powerful. Curious.
Well, you know who else is in Guadosalam?
A glory running around really fast.
That is true.
Yeah.
And he tells us to get out of his way.
It's called endurance training.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah, I think
That's
he's one
pretty
of the
much- Do you even
blitzball.
run, bro?
Yeah.
He's one of the blitzball players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
so.
assuming he is. Yeah, one of
I
the
think
I
all
think-
the glories are represented here.
Yeah, I think, and you can hit like Y or whatever button or like square. And,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
see
yeah.
their salary.
I think one of them is recruitable, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes,
Probably.
I did recruit one of them.
Did you?
One thing that I did want to touch on with the old tongue or whatever, when you talk to one of the Guado, they say, once all Guado spoke the old tongue, but when Lord Jiskel brought us to the light of Yevon, the old tongue fell out of favor with men,
Yeah.
and suffers now a slow demise. The youth laugh upon us as old stale relics who live too much in the past. The elders just won't give up the old tongue. So it's kind of fucked up that it's just like everyone stopped like it's almost, it feels like cultural like assimilation in a
has
kind
some,
of way
like,
where it's like all the
weird imperialism-y vibes
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's what
Yeah.
I got from it. Where it's like, okay, so the guardian or whatever who brought Yevon to the people of Guadosalam is like, okay, we have to speak like people who worship Yevon.
It reminds me a lot of like fucking missionary Christianity.
That's
It
exactly
really
what I was
does,
thinking.
yeah.
So I was like,
this Maester Jiskel, right?
Yeah.
Who evangelized to the Guado, basically.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know from an earlier cutscene that he is that yes, his name does sound like Jizz, but he's also Seymour's father.
Yeah.
Ooh. because Maester Micah at the beginning was like, "Oh, Jizgul, who passed away a fortnight and a half ago," or whatever. Whatever old fart dumb shit he said.
Hey, he was speaking the old tongue, okay? He wasn't speaking
I
that
didn't understand a word of
colonialist shit.
And we were just like, "Shut up, Micah. We got a game to play."
Mr. Micah, Mr. Micah.
Mr. Micah, Mr. Micah. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, I went into the shop, and our good friend Owaka's here,
Oh, yeah.
being unproblematic as always.
Yeah.
He gives us some good advice, right?
He said, like, the first thing he says is,
Don't get ripped off.
he goes,
I tell you, these Guado merchants are shrewd. Ripping off the pilgrims that come to visit the Fireplane.
and I'm like,
Who
does that fucking sound like?
I was instantly like, dude, this guy is trying to grift me inside of a thing, like, in front of someone else.
Yeah, in front of someone else, yeah.
And
I love Owaka.
I fell for it, and I was like, no way, like, it's definitely not the thing. So I went and bought stuff off of the merchant, and then I like went back and realized that Owaka's prices for me are actually less than.
Yeah.
You've invested enough.
I
in
like that
Owaka.
his words at the end of his little speech are, "Me, you can trust, at least more than the Guado."
Yeah.
What do you say? And I'm like, what?
I love
Owaka.
Owaka's body confidence with the crop top.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fair.
Like, just full flabby midriff. I love it.
Got
Yeah.
this good, he's got high quality tum.
Say what you
Yeah.
want about his like practices as a merchant,
And I
but
will.
The dude is very body positive, which is cool.
Yeah. No, it is cool. There's
yeah.
there's a lot of I love the costume design in this game, honestly.
Yeah,
Really?
there's a lot of really good costumes.
There's a lot of really we're gonna get to that because I think we're getting a cutscene with Unileska soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, cheeks out.
Yeah. No, yeah.
There's a lot of cheek in this game.
A lot of cheek
There's
in this
a
game.
lot,
I
yeah.
mean, even said we had like that woman who was wearing the dress that was basically like a loincloth, but like
Yeah.
instead her just ass is hanging
Or
out.
I heard somebody said Donna was a hot dog, and I can't stop thinking about it. She's just wearing
I
a
didn't
bun.
realize how much skin was in this game until the HD remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can actually see all of it. I'm like, good lord, it's people all walking out with their whole ass out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got more progressive over the past 1,000 years.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It
More
still
body
seems
positive.
very Nomura to me.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have zippers or just Titus?
That's Machina.
That technology has it. Yeah, that's Machina.
yeah, no,
Luckily,
That's
Waka
how you
doesn't
know he's
any
like a fish
better.
out of water.
Yeah.
I've come from the future to bring you zippers.
Yeah. Hey, I do like the idea that like Yevon has banned zippers because they're Machina. They're like,
What was that?
that's an L-bed technology. We don't allow that here.
What was that in Back to the Future? Like, oh, what's with the life vest or whatever?
Yeah, right.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
a good sailor. Yeah.
I
Surprised,
think
like,
underwear is also a machina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody else is
Since
that
no
either,
one's
yeah.
wearing it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, there's an elixir also while we're walking around. That's a good item.
There is an Albed primer in one of the Guado houses. It
Yeah.
is number 13, I
the
believe.
Guadua bodes.
And it's S equals M.
You say
Extremely
S.
interesting.
You said S.
S equals
Okay.
M. Yeah.
I thought you said S. I'm sorry.
S
I
equals M.
can't get my brain off the butt talk.
Everyone's-
Yeah.
they're thinking too much.
Even the
Alaska.
primer's all cheeked up. Ass equals I think that's really all there is outside of Seymour's house, yeah?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we can try to go to far plane, but we can't go in there yet.
Yeah.
There's also a hallway leading to like the Thunder Plains.
The Thunder
Yeah,
Plains,
yeah.
Oh,
so-
there is the Blitzball evangelizer. The one that says, since embracing Yevon, we Guado have learned the joy that is
Oh,
Blitzball.
yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, that made me laugh so hard.
I hope the people of Spira will find peace through Blitzball.
We may have gotten rid of the way that we speak on behalf of, this religion that was kind of thrust upon us.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
man,
but at least
that
we got
Blitzball.
this nonsensical sport.
That's
You
like,
know what? I think he's the person that makes the most sense out of everybody
Yeah.
here.
This is
I think
the-
it's like I just picture someone in the Dominican Republic being like, well, our country's been destroyed, but we do have baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the exact opposite of the gag on The Simpsons with the Super
Blitzball
Bowl.
greater than baseball, though.
Yeah.
But it's like the exact opposite of the gag on The Simpsons where it's the Super Bowl and Reverend Lovejoy's up there and he's like, well, I'm glad to see that some people decided to come
Yeah.
to church instead of watching the big game. And the one guy just goes, oh my God, I forgot about the game.
Yeah,
and
he runs
just
out.
runs out of church.
That's good.
It's wild that Yevon does sponsor like the Blitzball tournaments.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everything, it seems.
Yeah.
State-sponsored
That's how you
sporting events.
convert people.
Yeah. Yeah, right, yeah.
I guess we already did talk about how kind of Blitzball is kind of ingrained in Yevon. I almost said Yevonista. Yevon fashion, Yevon, like all the. It's a part of the culture.
You know what I would be upset by if I was watching a Blitzball game, and like I had like a hot dog from a hot dog vendor, and then somebody splashed out of the Blitzball sphere, and my hot dog got all wet and the bun was all moist. I'd be like, sport sucks.
It would be more optimal to eat it that way, though. I'm pretty sure that's what the hot dog eating
Yeah, you
contest
could eat
people
more
do.
of
They
them,
like
yeah.
dip it into like water very grossly.
It's if the Blitzball sphere is close enough, you can reach out to it and dip your hot dog in it.
Do you think there's a guy at Blitzball tournaments handing out like chick tracts? Like, have
Oh
you heard
my
about
god,
Yevon?
yeah, like Yevon chick tracks. Have we haven't heard the first name of Yevon yet, right? Anyway.
No.
No,
Okay, then I'm not gonna bring it up. But
Jonathan,
I thought you were
Jonathan Yevon.
the inventor of Yevon.
Yeah.
when you're talking about hot dog, I thought you were bringing back to Donna again.
Yeah.
Have you seen that tweet that was like commissions open, like any your OC as a hot dog, $50?
yes.
On hot dog, your character $150.
Yeah. Should message them and be like, "Yo, this character's halfway there. Can we get it for 40?" Yeah, the thumbnail was Hatsune Miku as a fucking hot dog. God, I love the times we live in. Sometimes. Anyway, I think it's about time we go pay Seymour a visit. Let's go on break first, though.
Yeah.
A month-long break that we do every season. See you in December.
Seymour's decadent mansion.
Yo, Seymour's the entrance to Seymour's mansion does look rather decadent.
It does. It also looks kind of like shit. It has like
It's decadent without the class, maybe.
it looks very like Disney haunted mansion.
Well,
'Cause
you know
it's
what?
just like the way that everything in Guadosalam looks with like the weird like tree bark marble stuff that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Is just like what this is built out of.
Now that you know what, I'm gonna take it back and I'm gonna say don't knock it till you try it kind of thing. And I'm gonna say, you know what? I'll accept it. It's a thing that I'm not used to, and it does look a little bit tacky because of it, but I'm coming at it from my own sensibilities.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I could learn to appreciate it.
Yeah, just anyone who lives in a mansion, I kind of have a bias
Well, that's
against
fair. That's fair.
immediately.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
If you have a mansion in Final Fantasy,
You're a bad guy. I mean,
Yeah, usually good things happen in mansions and Final
Oh my
Fantasy
God!
games.
This is the episode where we get Vincent. He's in the basement.
It's in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We already fought the other lost number.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
fucking Chocobo eater.
yeah.
The music is definitely ominous as fuck.
It's
Yeah.
extremely ominous.
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 This MF said ominous. Can you talk to anyone in the mansion? Because I kind of fucked up.
Yes.
you
You
can
can
try
talk
it.
to your party members.
Because what I did and what you can do, I guess this is probably what the speedrun does. When you walk into the mansion
You can
and you
just-
see, I was like, oh shit, I don't think I saw everything in like the city, so I want to go back and check. And I walked out and it just immediately kicked me into
Yep.
the next cutscene.
No.
I was like, shit.
You can do
This
that,
game
or you
does that
can
a lot.
Yeah, that, or you can try to go into the next room. Either way,
Okay.
it'll pull you to the next thing. I talked to Lulu first. She's on the stairs. So like, we should explain like, it's like a foyer area, right? Like this isn't
Atrium.
It's an atrium. There's a
I forgot to actually look up atrium as well as geography.
there's two curved staircases on either side of the room that go up to the second floor, and then
It's kind of Beauty and the Beast vibes.
Yeah,
and then,
for sure.
And then back on the first floor, there's a single door. So there's really only two exits, even though it has like
And the private quarters are upstairs.
even though it has
Just like Don Corneo.
yeah, right, yeah. So even though it is like a mansion, there's only like two obvious exits from this room, right? It's not like a foyer that goes into different wings or something like that. But on those two stairs on either side of the room, there are portraits of all the Guado Maesters that are maybe not necessarily Maesters, but like the leader of the Guado, right?
Yeah.
So there's 8 generations back of them that it shows, and the colors that they use to represent them is exactly like holographic Charizard. And so, like, I imagine that, like, that's what these are. Like, because it looks exactly like that to me. And, like, they're all, like, facing the appropriate direction that if, like, you were walking by them, you would see, like, their face in 3D, you know?
Oh, hell yeah. I
And so
thought
I'm
you were
just
going to
like-
say you would see their eyes move along.
No,
with you.
no,
You're
in the
like,
way
"Oh."
that, like, the further up they are, the more it looks like they're not looking forward and looking to the side a little bit. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like holographic Charizard. That's what this is.
I wonder if they're lenticular.
I think is that the word for it?
I think, yeah, that's
Where
usually.
you get the little like you get the little 3D effect,
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like lenticular portraits.
like our 3DS.
And then as soon as like so if you talk to Lulu, Titus just immediately says they all look the same, even though first of all, no they don't. But second of all, very, very insensitive, Titus.
Now I will bring this back to another NPC
Who says
the same thing. They're like, you probably think all the Guado look the same, and it's like, well, that's fine. Like we also feel that way about humans, and I think
They also do one more diss on us too. They say something else about humans.
I think they do say like, oh, I find all humans disgusting.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
it,
oh,
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like this went from being like borderline bad to just objectively bad.
Yeah.
But then I think that I don't know if it's the same NPC, but they also say like, one time a human child looked at me and cried, and that felt bad. I was like, yo, same.
same mood.
Yeah, who amongst us?
Yeah,
Who's
right.
amongst us?
But Waka walks up to us and says,
Maester Seymour doesn't look like them, no.
Don't you know? The last leader, Maester Jiskel, wed a human woman. She was Seymour's mother.
and so like that's kind of like our background. Seymour is that he's half Guado, half human.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What about it?
what about it? What does the matter with you?
Similar to
I think that's why he
Yuna.
has less beard than everyone else.
Yeah, his beard is just on his chest.
Yeah,
Yeah. Worse hair, also.
Yeah.
man, that front spike. Like the more we see of Seymour, and the more I can look at the front of his hair, I'm just like, what? He looks like Ixion, like like the way Ixion has that gnarly fucking like
Oh,
horn
yeah,
up front.
yeah.
I like because on the opposite side of the room there is Waka,
Waka waka.
and if you talk to him, it says, "I don't like the smell of this one, eh?"
Yeah.
And then if you talk to Riku, she's like, "Something smells great." It's like, are they talking about the same thing or not?
That's what in philosophy what we call a dialectic. We're breaking it down to two pieces. And Orin is just like, stay close to Yuna, and he's like real serious, you know. And like whenever Orin gets into a heightened state of alertness, I get into a heightened state of alertness because I'm like, oh no, I think he knows what he's talking about. I don't
Yeah.
like this.
You're like, if shit were to get real, Arin would be the first to know. So
Yeah.
I should probably be on my guard.
Yeah, and I like that if you talk to Kamari, he just says Kamari not like Maester Seymour.
Hell
And
yeah.
Yuna's standing right there, and she goes, shh, like, shut up.
And then you talk to Kamari again. He says, "Kamari, speak no more."
I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But yeah, then your only options, much like in every scene in FF10, is to leave or try to go further in to trigger the next cutscene. And Trommel comes out into the foyer and it says, "This way, please," and everybody follows him. And then I have 8 different fucking screenshots of Final Fantasy VII. So
Yo, hell yeah.
We can talk to him again.
Yo,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
talk about this Final Fantasy VII screenshots real quick.
well, I have the screenshot right here.
Oh, hell yeah, Avalanche.
Yeah. Where this is the line. It looks like a golden shiny wire of hope.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I was like, oh, Kin Iro ni something. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, that's the one. Ito ni me duruze.
Shout outs to Avalanche. We all miss you a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
This man ever said Avalanche.
Avril Lavanche.
My favorite pop punk singer.
Yeah.
You can talk to Trommel again because everyone walks in, and he'll just snootily say again, but a little bit
Yeah.
more insistent, like,
This way, please.
Yeah. He says, "I will go inform Lord Seymour. Please wait here." And we're in like a dining hall, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think it's called the
Hey, this
Great
is the
Hall.
This is the strip club buffet, right?
it's like the reception, right?
Every
The
Tuesday,
strip club
wings are
buffet
50
is-
cents.
I was gonna say, like for a strip club buffet, he's got like apples and oranges and
Yeah,
bananas.
it's
and,
real
like,
nice.
It's very healthy.
Anytime the Guado blitzball team is on, wings are like 50 cents
Yeah,
each.
yeah, right. $1 off domestic.
Yeah, this is a very like there's a certain vibe here of it being like a celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
And
a,
I don't
a
like it.
reception.
I
a
saw
wedding
it.
reception.
I
even.
saw it and immediately knew what was coming up.
Yeah,
I
I
was
was-
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like this at all.
It's like prom.
Yeah. Well, like, what did I say? Like, when Donna was making fun of us, she was like, "Yeah, I hear Maester Seymour's quite taken with you." I was like, Seymour's that guy that like has spoken to a girl once and then is like, "I have a girlfriend."
She lives in Besaid. You probably never.
Yeah.
You never met her.
Yeah.
You know what this feels like? Is it feels like a quinceañera.
Yeah.
It feels like my niece's quinceañera.
I can only think about that picture of that cat that turned 15, and they're like, "We gave my cat a quinceañera," and it's in like a dress eating a cake.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
God, what a good picture.
I immediately think of that.
I know. I think it's too. I'm just like, oh man. Anyway,
By the time this comes out, I'll have got head goose for a year.
Aww.
The one I rescued from the highway.
Hell yeah.
last-
The
first
second
season.
one you rescued from a highway.
Yeah, right.
The high one, yeah.
I went.
But we can walk around this hall though.
Yeah, we can talk to different members of our party. Who did everyone talk to first?
Lulu.
Lulu. Same.
Also, she's like the closest to the door.
True,
so-
but I've decided that every time I'm just a Lulu simp, so every time I will just talk to Lulu.
Yeah.
Who isn't though, man?
Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
How could you not be? Whomst amongst
Yes.
us?
Cornrows are a little dated, but
I also feel like she's like, out of everybody in the party, is like the only person who's like reasonable.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Like-
she's the voice of reason in every situation.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
she also doesn't really seem like she has anything to hide from us.
yeah, right.
Like
And-
Orin is like, he's like a mature adult, but he's like also holding back a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're not even like, I mean, at this point, who fucking knows? Well, like at this point in the game, like we could be like getting prepared to be sacrificed to send by Orin. Who fucking knows what his
Yeah.
fucking motives are?
Waka is just the useful idiot.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And like Lulu's at least like she's warmed up to us now, and yeah, is the voice of reason, and doesn't seem especially simpy for religion. She's just like, it's just the way that it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
It is
She's
what it
very
is.
practical.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Lulu's a good first one to talk to. Who once again actually goes right into explaining something
Yeah.
about the area that we're in, right?
Yeah.
Where she says that there's no temple in Guadosalam, and summoners usually just walk right on through. They don't even stop.
Yeah.
And like even Titus is like,
I didn't even ask a question and you're explaining things.
and she's like, what? What do you mean? And he's like, I don't know. Maybe you actually believe me about Xanarkand now and stuff.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you finally believe that I don't actually know anything about Spira, so maybe you also believe me about Xanarkand.
Yeah, and I like that she's just like, there's many things I do not know.
So this is what
It's like the fucking cat in Adventure Time. I have the approximate knowledge of many things, Fred the human boy.
Yeah, I like that. This is what the Meisters consider a flyover state in Spira.
Orin tells us to stay on our guard, and Titus is just like, oh, he's just a priest, which like seems like a weird thing to say. We've seen that priests in this world have all the fucking power in the
Yeah,
world,
like,
but
seriously.
and he's like, those with power use that power, and maesters have power.
Hell yeah.
And then like Titus is like, you sure you don't have something against Yevon? And he just laughs at us.
He's like, yeah, he says, I lived a long time in Xanarkand.
Yeah,
I think Riku has the best and also most important dialogue,
absolutely.
where she's just standing by like the buffet of like various fruits and just says,
This is good.
Guado sure know how to eat.
"It's so
Yeah.
good." Yeah, and she's, "Gee, I wonder what all this is for. It's exciting."
Yeah.
I thought of the Sunny episode where Dennis is eating because he's very uncomfortable.
yeah, the play episode with the thing.
Yeah, I'm eating because I'm very uncomfortable.
Will you take a 5, Riku? Will you take a 5?
Did you all,
I'm here now.
I'm here. I am here.
did you all notice that bottle or something swinging from the ceiling?
Yeah, there's
so
a weird pendulum.
Yeah, it's like a pendulum. Yeah.
It was so small. Like, why is there just? It looks like it's just a Coke bottle.
You know what it
hanging
looked
from
like
the
to me?
ceiling.
I thought it was like, okay, so we'll see it a couple times. On the ceiling are like 3 spheres, like orbs that are like lighting up the room, I guess. Like at first I thought they were just like the like a chandelier.
A decorative piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like a meaningful little bit of Titus looking at them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I figured that like, you know how like old ceiling fans have the little pull string that you use to turn the fan on
I
and
always
off?
have a hard time grabbing it.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was like one of those. You have to click it 3 times if you want it to go fast, but if you want it to shut off, you have to go back through medium and slow speed as well.
Since you said it reminded you of a bottle, that reminds me of a small a small story that I have from like my life with
Too bad we don't do cutaways on this show.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, go ahead.
on a camping trip, me and my friends invented a new game because we were on a camping trip where there was no signal. So we had to make our own fun, and we had drank a lot of beers and had a lot of bottles.
You were in the prime game making state.
Yeah, so I forget what we, for some reason we had string or whatever, and one of my friends tried creating a wind chime out of old beer bottles, and they tied up a bunch of beer bottles like on a tree that we were like near in the woods, and then we're like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm trying to make a wind chime. And we're like, it's not working. He's like, oh, here, let me, and he took like the smallest pebble and went to throw it just to make a chime, and the bottle shattered, and we were like, oh my God. And then we just kept doing that with all of the old bottles and throwing rocks at them until they shattered, and we called it chime toss. Shout outs to Peter, who is in our Discord. He was there during the inception of chime toss. I also want to say we threw a tarp under and collected all the glass and properly recycled it because we're not monsters. So next time you go camping, play some chime toss.
There you go. I like Walk is kind of expressing his very first like bad vibes about religion. So I was like, Walker coming around where he's like, I got nothing against the Macer, but I don't like this. Like, something smells fishy here.
I get the feeling he called us up here for more than just dinner.
And I think Walker just has something against eating because he's always like trying to change the topic every time. He's like, "Yo, when's lunch?" Like, "Oh, later. We'll get to it." Like,
I was gonna say that the one thing we know about Waka is that he's racist, and like we know two things about Waka. He's religious. He's very religious, and he's also very racist. So I just figured that this was a moment of his racism trumping his religion.
There's no temple here. I don't want to be here.
He's like, I don't trust that they're actually supporters of Yevon.
Oh,
that new Yevon.
You say New Yevon, but God, FFX too. I'm sorry. Anyway, Trauma walks back into the room once we try to leave the room again, and he says, "Truly, it's good to have guests again." And he says, "Since Lord Jiskel passed away, these halls have been too quiet." And Yuna kind of, reciprocates that. She's like, "Oh yeah, the death of Lord Jiskel was a great loss for all Spira." Titus asks Waka, was he really such a great guy? And he explains it like, oh yeah, he brought the teachings of Yevon to the Guado. He was truly a great man, which again, like imperialism vibes, missionary vibes. Yeah.
It's like every time I think of Scamming is like, grand folks would not shut up about George Sr. when he passed. Like, oh
boy.
What a loss. What a great loss. He was truly one of the greats.
Oof.
He was great on that episode of The Simpsons.
But yeah, he explains again that Seymour is the child of a Guado human, and he speaks about Seymour in a very like messianic way, where he's like, he's the light that will bring our races together.
Yeah,
like all of Spira's hope rests on his shoulders, and like I guess he knows nothing about the summoners.
Yeah.
We're supposed to beat Sin, you jerk.
He will surely become the shining star that lights the way for all the peoples of Spira, sir. Yeah. And then Seymour comes in, like, as he's speaking, and he says,
"That is enough, Trummel. Must I always endure such praise?"
Go fuck yourself, Seymour, you fucking asshole.
He was just waiting.
I know.
He was just living for his cue.
I know. And I was
just warm him up.
I can't stand it that everybody always says how good of a guy I am. Everyone always. I'm always enduring it.
I think my biggest flaw is that I'm too humble.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What a fucking asshole. I don't like him. Erin, how do you feel about Seymour? You said you have complicated feelings about Seymour.
I think he's an interesting villain.
Yeah.
I think he's...
Wait, he's a villain? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Spoilers.
He's only done good things for us so far.
I don't like his reverse chest hair.
Yeah,
we talk about that all the time.
The under nipple.
Yeah, under nipple.
This show went from being very
sub-nip.
This show went from being very body positive to very anti-body positive.
I don't mean to shame it. I mean, if you have sub-nipple hair but not top nipple hair, I think you're great.
That's a nipple beard.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
A nipple beard. Go fuck yourself, Alex.
Or like ab beard.
Nipple goatee. It's just like little soul patches below each one. Well, I know what I'm doing when I get home.
God, Seymour would absolutely be in a shitty Christian rock band.
God, yeah,
he has
absolutely.
big Christian rock vibes.
Yeah.
Can you take me higher?
Meanwhile, this music is still like that kind of slow psycho music.
Extremely
Dude.
ominous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super ominous.
Good vibes.
But yeah,
That's
he's
about all the vibes I have off of Seymour.
Okay.
I think he's interesting. I think he's like charismatic.
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's a little too relaxed in a charismatic way. I hate it.
Yeah,
He's
he's
too
Yeah,
easygoing.
I hate his fingernails.
he's got
Yeah.
real long fingernails.
That's a Guado thing, I guess. They got talents.
Yeah, but I mean they're like lilac colored.
I
which
think
is
it's,
a
I think it's
choice.
also a coke fiend thing.
Oh, it's like exactly. It's all coke nails. You know how
yeah,
you
yeah.
encounter the guy that has like the one coke nail and it's
Yeah.
just his thumb, and the rest of them are all trimmed.
Guado are taller. They need more. They
Yeah.
need more coke nails.
My
I
favorite
mean, multiple coke nails.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is how Carrie Fisher had like a coke nail or something, and someone brought it up to her, and she was like, "How dare you? I am a respectable coke addict, and I snorted out of a silver spoon. Thank you very much."
Yes. God, what a G.
Yeah, she fucking rules.
But yeah, he's like very welcoming, quote unquote, and Eunice just like,
You wanted to see me?
Please, make yourselves at home. There's no rush.
and I love that Oren from the back of the room is
we
like,
literally have to rush.
we literally are in a rush. Like, Una must rush. Keep this short.
Sin is probably on
Titus,
his
cast
way
haste,
here.
please. Just make this quick.
But yeah, he's like, oh, there's something I wanted to show you. Please come this way. And you guys remember Bugenhagen
Oh hell
from
yeah!
FF7?
This is real
Yeah,
Bugenhagen.
of course.
This also
Yeah.
is
Such
very
a weird jump cut, though.
It is very odd. Yeah.
This is actually there's a scene in FF7 remake that is also like this about the kind of history of Midgar in the museums section.
Oh my god,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love that cutscene. Honestly,
That was really
This
good.
actually, I'm like, oh, this is very much like that. They probably
Shinra headquarters slaps. Honestly,
Yo,
Oh,
it's
I
real
haven't
good,
got
man.
to it yet.
is
Well,
very.
it's I mean the game's only been out for like a week, so I understand.
Yeah. I feel like I'm almost there.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So the reason I brought that up is because Bugenhagen had the planetarium, and you were saying like the Midgar thing in FF7.
Bugenhagen's being
Wait, quick,
Yeah.
Alex, you have to splice in the music that plays during that scene for when we're talking about this. That's such a good track. I think it's called the live stream.
Okay.
Anyway, I think what I don't know if this is like canon, but what I'm led to believe, because they made multiple shots of this, like the camera has, that like those 3 spheres I think are like a projection device.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is what I took from that, because they keep like focusing on it and that little pendulum and everything, and I was like, I guess that's what's doing this, because basically what happens is Seymour turns on a device somewhere, or basically like he causes us somehow to be standing in a 3D projection.
He
right?
activates it by clapping, which was big at the time.
All the lights in the
Clap
room go off.
on, clap off.
The roadcaster goes off. Damn it!
Oh shit!
It's based on the holodeck.
It's the holodeck, yeah. And it's actually a very pretty scene, actually. Like
I took some screenshots and I do. I want.
yeah, this is a really good.
I would love
cutscene.
these as
Yeah.
like wallpapers, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's showing like
Yuna's like walking forward, and like the floor like is all black, and then it changes to like a bunch of stars, and it kind of just keeps like going out, and we see like a whole galaxy, and then we kind of see just her face, and she's like reveling in this all, and there's a bunch of like energy that's like flying past her
right.
probably souls or something like that.
in some sort of stream of life. It looks like
This
that's
one- this
going
one-
towards a galaxy. Yeah.
This one screenshot I got Riku really like so.
Yeah, I got that too,
She was
yeah.
arms out like whoa.
Yeah,
it's
Riku's
good, yeah.
like flipping out. She's like, "Whoa!"
The first thing Waka does when he sees it is he just like lifts his arms out at like
Yeah,
at, like
yeah.
his full wingspan, and he's like freaking out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so good.
Riku and Waka both do that. Yeah,
They're
it's so
loving
good.
it.
Who needs a temple? We got this shit.
And then it starts showing a recreation of Xanarkand, like the Xanarkand from the beginning of the game, essentially. And it is all lit up, right? Like it's like
It's lit.
it's the shit is lit. And Seymour says,
This sphere is a reconstruction created from the thoughts of the dead that wander the far plane.
and it's cool because like while he's speaking, we're like floating through the city, or like the city is moving around us, right?
Yeah.
In a very quick kind of way. It's very cool.
Hustle bustle of foot traffic. The script actually like showed. I was intrigued because the in the background there's a PA broadcast that says the Blitzball Stadium is experiencing technical difficulties. Tonight's game will be delayed and stuff like that.
Really?
I was like, ooh, I wonder what that's all about.
Interesting. And
They're tired of animating Blitzball, probably.
Yeah. And Titus recognizes it. Like when 3D projections of like the citizens of Xanarkand pop up and start walking around, he's like, "Oh, this is Xanarkand." And Seymour's like, "Correct, Xanarkand, as it looked 1,000 years ago," which lends some credence. to the idea that Titus, because like, right, we still don't really know the deal with Titus. We have some idea, right? But like, we know that Orin got to Xanarkin somehow, which is really the only, you know what I mean? We're like, it's Titus from 1,000 years ago, and he was just pulled forward in time, and so was Jecht, and that, like, it's always the same amount of time. That's why we know Jecht came a couple of years before him.
Is Titus a ghost?
I literally cannot tell you the answer to that.
I'll have more discussion about that in a few sentences.
Do you want to talk about Ghost Dad for a minute? Because that movie's fucking wild.
What is Ghost Dad?
It's a Bill Cosby movie.
Yeah, I feel like
we shouldn't talk
we don't
about
know it to Bill Cosby. Yeah.
No, fuck Bill Cosby.
Exactly, yeah.
They should reboot Ghost Dad.
Also, fuck Ghost Dad.
Reboot Ghost Dad with a different actor.
We might have actually talked about Ghost Dad on the podcast before.
Almost certainly.
Because like it does have one of the best gags of all time where the movie's called Ghost Dad. It's about Bill Cosby, who is a ghost dad. When the movie starts out, he is not a ghost. So the entire time you're like waiting for the thing to happen. And there's like 3 or 4 moments of like certain death like about to happen to Bill Cosby, and then it fucking doesn't. And you're like, oh, I thought that was when he became the ghost dad. Like he's on a fucking elevator, and the like you can see the elevator shaft like wires like fraying, and it's about to fall, and then he steps off of it, and then it falls, and you're like, wait, so everyone else there just died? Why does Bill Cosby keep killing people? What the fuck? Anyway, yeah, so we're seeing a bunch of Xanarkand here.
Yeah.
She once lived in this metropolis.
And Orange shoots him the dirtiest fucking look as soon as
oh yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, oh,
here we go.
Boy, what is going on? Yeah.
Yeah, and Yuna says, she who.
He's also like very like creepily standing close to Yuna. Like super
hovering.
close.
He's hovering for sure.
There's a lot of good shots of Seymour's face in this, though. Nice pre-rendered FMV Seymour.
Everybody looks fucking fantastic in this.
Everyone looks gorgeous.
He's looking like a discount Sephiroth for sure.
Actually, now that I notice, like one of his bangs does look like half of the Xanarkand Abe's logo.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like front bang. It is wild.
We have Sephiroth at home.
We have Sephiroth at home.
It's not the same.
No.
I want my pauldrons.
Actually, that's what Sephiroth needs, I think, is since he's got that big open jacket, he needed a reverse the nipple hair.
Yeah.
He just needed it on top, like where Seymour has it on the bottom.
Terrible chest tattoo.
Maybe Seymour's just super into his tattoos that he has.
Yeah.
So he shaves up until that point to show off.
Oh, dude, I don't mean to sidetrack. I had a great
dare you
idea.
sidetrack.
Yeah, on this show.
I know. I
Please do.
wanted to pitch you
Please do.
guys an idea because I pitched this to coworkers and nobody was having it. So, okay, chest tattoo. So, like, if you have a lot of chest hair, you shave the chest hair, and then you get like a partial ship, like a big old school like 18th century man at war, right?
Okay.
And then you get it strategically placed between your nipples so that when you grow your chest hair back, it looks like it's coming out of the fog and it's like a ghost ship.
That fucking rules.
I know. Okay, thank you. It's like nobody I know with chest hair wants to do it.
I was gonna say I don't have any tattoos yet, so I'll put that in the bin.
There you go. Put it in the bin.
There you go.
I would if I had.
I would absolutely have that if I had chest hair.
If I had chest hair that could facilitate that, I absolutely would.
Dude, the only thing I'm afraid of is that if I do it, it's not gonna look like it's coming out of the fog. It's gonna look like there's a fucking like tentacled kraken like trying to like strangle the boat.
You can try
Dude, even better.
That's
honestly.
even better, yeah.
Just try with henna first. I'm gonna give it a little test run, you know? Or we can order.
No, we go hard or go home.
Do it with Sharpie.
I like it.
Anyway.
Speaking of
But Seymour.
yeah. Speaking of skin, we get our first look at a new character here.
Yes.
Yes. So we're kind of transport. So at first I thought we were back in Seymour's
Yeah, same.
home, but no, we're still in.
We're still in the weird zone.
We're at what historians call the cool zone.
Cool zone.
But yeah, there's a woman sitting on a bed who is cheeked up, I suppose.
Some would say double cheeked up. That's not for us to say.
It's not for us to say.
It's her bedroom.
It's her bedroom.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fine. But you want to talk about wild fucking hair? Seymour versus this lady.
So I think
I'm gonna
I think this lady has normal hair, but is wearing a decorative hair.
Oh.
Yeah, you know how you sit around your bedroom with a decorative headpiece on?
Yeah, of course. It's
I
like
mean-
it's like a bump it.
It's another whomst another whomst amongst us doesn't.
Yeah, I think she just has normal hair, but is wearing some sort of like headpiece that has these large streamers coming off it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be her hair.
The streamers are either solid or very starched.
Yeah.
So
You know what Ren Fair is when they're like running around the pole with like the streamers and the shit?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She looks like the pole.
Yeah.
Just covered in streamers.
The maypole.
a bunch of children dancing around her, holding onto her headdress. She's also like, I feel like this is the most anime character we've seen yet, because like blue hair, like super long blue hair kind of thing going on.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah.
Yeah, she's wearing like a bikini, like a 2-piece kind of thing, right? But it looks like ceremonial, sort of.
Yeah.
Like Leia. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Eunice says, Lady Unileska, and
And I've mentioned Unileska before.
yeah,
we've heard Unileska.
We've heard that name before.
This is the person.
Seymour brought it up, right?
it's
Probably.
Like, let me be,
yes.
He's like, let me be like
the
your-"
Lord Zayon to your Unileska.
In retrospect, seems a little like I said, a Tinder profile.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's not a good line.
Just
Yeah.
as Zayon looking for his Unileska. In the
Yeah,
world.
just as Zayon looking for his Unileska. God, fuck you.
on Yevon Mingle.
Why date?
Yeah. But yeah, there's a statue of her in every temple, right? Like whenever we
I
see
mean,
the
I would
Sunners.
put a statue of her in every
Yeah,
temple.
for sure.
That's stupid hot.
I'm about to put a statue of her in my house.
Yeah.
It's art.
Yeah,
It's
so
called hentai and it's art.
yeah, Seymour goes on and he says,
She was the first person to defeat sin and save the world from its ravages. And you have inherited her name.
Yeah, Una, short for Unileska, I guess.
yeah, and Eunice says, it was my father who named me. And Seymour says, Lord Braska was entrusting you with a great task. He wanted you to face sin, as Lady Unileska did. However, Lady Unileska did not save the world alone. To defeat the undefeatable sin, it took an unbreakable bond of love, of the kind that binds two hearts for eternity.
And he gets an acoustic guitar out.
Yeah, it's a little Harry Potter right here. Like, the greatest magic of all is love.
I've seen
Gross.
Interstellar.
But yeah, and then like a dude,
Just a dude.
in like full ass armor with a white cape. He
It's
looks
like-
like
He's wearing too much.
Oh, he
Yeah.
kind of looks like the Warrior of Light.
I was gonna say he looks like the Warrior of Light, like the
Yeah.
interpretation of the character from Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah,
that later games
yeah.
have.
Kind of like a samurai sort of looking armor,
Yeah.
but like the helmet is a little more like lavish, I guess.
Right. And they like, and Unileska stands up, or the image of Unileska stands up. They embrace, and then like the screen half fades to white, like it kind of washes out, I guess.
Yeah.
And we see that like Seymour like leans over Una and says something in her ear, and then she's like visibly upset by it.
She literally like gasps and like you don't hear her gasp, but like she puts her hand up to her mouth, and
Right.
you're like, oh, he probably didn't say something good.
No,
This is like
no.
the opposite of the end of Lost in Translation.
Oh my goodness.
So-
and like, yeah. So the
Bill Murray
illusion,
was dead the whole time.
the projection's over now, right? We're back in the
The meat space.
The Great Hall. Yeah.
Meat space.
And
Oh
Una's
my god,
like,
I want to call a buffet hall a meat space.
and she like runs over to where the fucking refreshments are and like downs a whole glass of water like immediately.
So it's actually not water; it's Suntory whiskey.
It's a whole thing of Zima.
For a disturbing time, it's Suntory time.
But here's what I'd like to point out: when she puts the cup back down on the table, if you screenshot right when she takes her hands away from the glass is right in front of Titus, and it looks like Titus is trapped. It looks like he's really small and trapped inside the cup. And he's like, ooh, like I can't get out.
Wow, the direction on this game is really frame perfect.
I was like, oh, that's cute.
Symbolism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Riku just sees Yuna
Yuna walks up to the party,
obviously like shaken up, and she goes, "Wow, your face is beet red." And Titus asks if she's okay, and she kind of just starts like mumbling to herself,
Stammering, yeah.
yeah, like we do on this podcast when we're trying to articulate a coherent thought, but instead we're just like, "Oh,
so big mood."
You don't know how many extra words I've cut out. False starts I've cut out.
Patrons to our Patreon page will get the full cut of all of the ums and uhs and
42-minute cut.
Yeah.
The sibilant
Release
supercut.
the cut.
Yeah, the cut.
my longest ever." But Yuna says,
He asked me to marry him.
Titus immediately chimes in. He's like, "You serious?"
And he's like,
I don't
"Hey!"
like it either. I don't like it
No,
either.
I completely agree.
I do not
I just
like
think
it.
it's kind of funny that Titus is just chiming in right away.
Yeah.
But he's like, hey, like, what's the big idea kind of vibe?
And what's the big idea?
You know what Yuna must do.
And Seymour's like, oh, of course. Lady, Yuna, no, all summoners are charged with bringing peace to Spira. But this means more than just defeating sin. She must ease the suffering of all Spira. She must be a leader for the people. I propose to Lady Yuna as a maester of Yevon. And, like, convenient.
Yeah.
Convenient excuse.
It's not about me. It's actually about the good of all spirits.
Yeah,
the
no,
only
it's
way that
It's
we
good.
can.
It's for tax purposes, you know.
This is for their own good. Everybody else is good.
Oren's like, Spirit is no playhouse.
I love that. I love his response to that. Spirit is no playhouse.
Spee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
A moment's diversion may amuse an audience, but it changes nothing.
And Seymour says, even so, the actors must play their parts. Which, like, is such a fucking empty thing to say. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Am I not giving Seymour enough credit? Or, like...
No, dude, you're fully in the right.
Okay.
You can't just be like, dude, like, we're just going to take your word for it that this is the only way? Okay, dude.
That's like, it's not like... It reminds me of in high school when people would, like, fucking quote Nietzsche and just be like, oh, if you stare into the abyss stares back into you. And I'd be like, you fucking have no idea, like, what you're saying. Like...
It's fake deep.
It's fake deep. What does it mean? Like, what does it mean to you personally? And they'd be like, oh, you know, because the abyss.
He's like,
darkness,
all the
bro."
world is but a stage. And you're like, shut the fuck
Shut
up, dude.
the
You're not
fuck up.
marrying our friend.
Yeah.
You met her like twice.
Yeah, I know.
Her reaction to it should be enough proof that she shouldn't marry you.
Yeah.
What did our Choco Knight say last week?
Where there's a will, there's a way. And Titus is like, oh my God, I've never heard that before. That's so incredible.
That's a famous Goku quote.
I'll never forget you.
Seymour says, there's no need to answer right away. Please think it over. And then Oren just goes, yeah, we'll do so.
Yeah.
We leave. And he just like immediately is like having us leave. And Seymour says, Lady Yuna, I await your favorable reply. And as we walk out...
That's how I end like every job email.
Yeah, like that's a work email. Like that's a LinkedIn-ass way to fucking say something. Like, I look forward to working with you. Like, you don't have the
I
job
hope this
yet.
proposal finds you well.
Yeah.
I apologize for the delay. Yuna just left Seymour on red.
But I do love this line, though, that comes up. Because, like, Oren's obviously being very cold, and I almost feel like this is a little bit of a snapback by Seymour. But as they're walking out, Seymour, like, looks sideways at Oren and just says, why are you still here, sir? And, like, there's a moment of silence.
Yeah.
And he
like
just goes,
it's
"I
an
beg
out
your
of character moment for Seymour, too, because usually he's kind of cool and collected. And this doesn't seem like it's, like, cool and collected.
Yeah.
This seems like an emotional thing of, like, hey, why are you still here?
Yeah. And then there's a moment of silence, and he says, I beg your pardon. We Guado are keen to the scent of the far plane.
Fucking rules.
And Titus gives him a whiff.
Yeah, Titus literally walks up to him and, like, puts his face right in Oren's sternum and just, like gives him a big old snort. And Oren just fucking pushes Titus. He just, like, shoves him aside.
God, I wish that were me.
So this is why I was asking if Titus dead, but don't tell me. But I was like,
This
well,
has
I'm wondering-
something to do with, like, I feel like Oren has some connection to the far plane that we don't
Yeah.
know about. That
What?
Seymour is just like, yo, you're gonna be an asshole to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna
like, I feel like this is a devastating own to Oren that we
Yeah.
just don't have enough context.
Yeah,
yet
no, that's how
to
I
be
took
like,
it. Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
My tentative theory was that, like, the far plane has a connection to Xanarkand, and he smells Xanarkand on him. It's like you smell, like, the far plane kind of
I
thing.
kind of thought of it as a thing of, like, he has been to the far plane. Who do we know who has been to the far plane so far?
I think-
What kind of like? Why are you still here? You've been to the far plane. I'm like,
I think
oh,
Orin
shit.
is Ghost Dad.
But not from when he went on the elevator.
Yeah, right.
It was a different thing.
I mean, the Meehan elevator was a doozy, but it was fine. It was perfectly functional.
But yeah, I don't think there's really much left to do
In here.
Seymour's mansion. Like
Yeah.
we can go up and
I think we immediately leave, don't we?
I think you're
Or-
back in like the
foyer.
atrium,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and you can go upstairs, but the guy is still like, "Hey, this is
Yeah,
Seymour's
it's
private
Seymour's room.
quarters."
Your whole
Yeah.
party's waiting for you outside.
You can scream at him that the house is on fire, but he'll tell you that it's just the northern lights.
Yeah, once we walk outside, the whole party's waiting on us. And Lulu says, Yuna, the High Summoner's daughter, and Seymour, leader of the Guado, married in the name of Yevon, overcoming the barrier of race. It would give Spira something cheery to talk about for a change. And, like, I think she's just, what do they call that? Waxing poetic or whatever. She's not, like, really suggesting that happens. She's just, like, it's expositional dialogue for us, the listener, or the player. We're like, oh, thank you.
Well, she's kind of thinking of like almost like a royal family kind of way.
I think that's what Seymour's
for sure.
trying to, like, suggest that it would be.
Yeah,
Join our houses.
My only concern is that Seymour was on Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs. So, as a guardian, I'm going to have to speak up and say I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, Walker would agree with you on this one. Because even Walker's like...
Sounds just like a passing daydream, like Oren says.
And like Titus is like doesn't even want to hear anything about this. He's like, oh, can we just get on with the pilgrimage, please?
Clearly trying to just be like, this is dumb. Let's go on the pilgrimage instead.
The band, guys.
Yeah,
the band.
yeah. Yeah.
Titus, who like a couple episodes ago was like, can't we just skip the pilgrimage? Now he's like, the pilgrimage, guys, come on.
Yeah, and even Riku's like, jealous.
That's so good.
Got him, got his ass. He says, we gotta defeat sin. Romance can wait.
Yeah.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones.
Titus is like,
Sorry.
he's like, romance can wait, and then he's like, shit, why did I say that? Like, just this specific romance can wait.
Can love bloom on the battlefield.
Walker says he sure picked a fine time to lay this one on us. And then Yuna's like,
Maybe it is a fine time. If my getting married would help Spira.
like Yuna always has like that, like what is it, the like a messiah complex kind of thing.
She's
I
got
guess.
like the weight of the world on her shoulders, and she's like,
Yuna is like the ultimate people pleaser.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She's
Hey,
always
which is
apologizing.
It's a character trait that is like, I don't want to get into gender politics with Yuna, but I always disliked her character so much because of what a pushover and what a passive person she is.
Right.
But I realize it's somewhat self-aware commentary on women's place in the world of, especially when it comes to religion.
yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I think the very first episode we met her, we may have like touched on that a little bit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you
we're
did.
like it is
I listened to the show.
it does have that like air of problematicness to it where you're like
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I'm not sure if this is self-aware or if it's critical or just a portrayal.
I think
you know?
it's the kind of thing where like you can get out of it like what you interpret it as, but it also kind of is important to like think of the creators who made it, which is why when we were talking about like the costume design and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like really cool and like progressive or whatever. But it's also like, but it's also written by Nomura, so or, like, created by Nomura. So I'm a little
this is also
suspicious.
Yuna's also just very much like an archetypal kind of character that is intended to be cute and to be protected.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
She's very common in anime and video games, and I've always disliked it. I
Yeah.
find it insulting.
She doesn't actually like and to that point she doesn't really come across to me as like a subversion of that at all, almost as like
no.
the ultimate.
Now, 10-2 Yuna.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but this
Yeah.
one is almost like the perfect example of that stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Not
like-
critical in any way.
Right.
Like,
Even later in the game when she does like I feel like they try to make her break from it. She doesn't really though. Like it's still motivated by the same thing.
Yeah, it's also weird that it's like Yuna's a Final Fantasy character, and like thinking back to other Final Fantasy games, like in Final Fantasy VII, where Aerith was like that kind of trope, but she was also not like, oh yeah, I don't really need your protection. Like,
I think she was better about that.
in terms of like when she like brings Cloud back to like the Sector 7.
Yeah.
Where she was like, oh yeah, I didn't really need you as a bodyguard so much. Like, I can just kind of, I've been doing this shit for a long time.
I just liked hanging out with you.
I just wanted to hang out with you for a little longer.
I also like that, like, Aerith does not stop fucking just, like, twisting the fucking blade on everybody the entire game. Like, she takes every opportunity she has to dunk on everybody in the party, especially Cloud. She's just like, you dumb asshole. I like you.
or just like the thing with like Wall Market in Final Fantasy VII, where it's like Tifa is like, you know, we think like, oh my god, she was kidnapped by Don Corneo or something, and then Aerith is like, oh, we need to go and help her, and she's kind of the driving force of it. And then Cloud's like, you need to stay behind, and I'm gonna rescue her, and Aerith's like, no, that's fucking stupid. Like, I'm gonna, and like throughout that whole thing, it's kind of just like, oh yeah, Cloud was never really like the one in control of this, and like,
no, Cloud is like the super passive character, which Cloud is sort of a subversion of that. He's not the main character in his own fucking game.
Exactly. It's
but
so
he
good.
thinks he is that kind of like the
he's so passive. He's just like he's just kind of led around by everyone else.
And I think like I think especially the PlayStation ones had that kind of character a little bit better. Like even like I would say the analog in 8 would be like Renoa, who is kind of that character. But they give her shit for it, I think, as the game goes on. They're like, no, that's her character flaw. Like that's the thing that gets everybody in trouble. Is that she's that type of character. Yeah. Anyway, take that, Nomura. You know, I bet like a lot of this stuff that we like say like, Nomura probably wasn't even him. It's probably somebody else, but like he's just gonna have to be the Cypher like stand-in for every time I have an issue with 10.
That's pretty much exactly how I talk about him.
It's like anytime you have any problem with Nintendo, you can just blame it on Reggie. Thanks a lot, Reggie.
The 2016 election, Nomura. Anyway. She continues on. She says, if I could do that for people, maybe I should do what I can. I never imagined doing anything like this, but I won't answer till I know it's right. And so she's like seriously considering it.
She's considering it, yeah.
But again, based on like it will make everybody else happy.
Yeah, she's kind of like, this is bigger than me. My life has always been bigger than me. So I need to think of it in that lens instead of just being like absolutely repulsed by this guy and wanting nothing to do with him.
Right.
Other than like, you know, like understand that he is like a powerful man or whatever.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to tip the hat too early or anything, but I'm going to go ahead and tip the hat a little bit and be like, and then Riku says...
You could always just quit your pilgrimage and get married.
The only reason I'm going to say that that's a tip is because the two interactions we've had with Riku recently are she tries to kidnap Yuna and then is like, hey, you should quit your pilgrimage. I'm like, Everybody on our team has their motives, don't they?
And Yuna says,
I will. Go on.
Yeah.
There's a nice little pause there where at first you're like, what? And she says, yeah, I'm sure Lord Seymour will understand. And Riku goes, I guess so.
Yeah. She says, I must fight and defeat sin. And Orange says, like Broska before you. And then Titus has another narration. And he says, I had to stop myself from shouting, what's there to think about? But Yuna says, I'm going to
go to the far plane.
I'm gonna go to a far plane.
I'm gonna miss my far plane.
I got a far plane that leaves in 5 minutes. I gotta go. She says, I'm gonna go see my father and think on this.
I gotta ask my ghost dad to get me
Ghost dad!
Holy shit!
Wow. Anyway, you know, I actually was thinking about this when I played this. I was like, oh, this actually, like, every time somebody says, like, I'm going to go see my blank, I'm like, oh, it's Sephiroth when he's in the mansion.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to go see my mother.
It's Dutch angle Sephiroth every time.
Yeah. In narration, Titus says, I wonder why none of the others ever asked Yuna, do you love Seymour? Do you even like him? And that's the end of that scene.
Yeah.
And then we'd go up to the far plane, but I think that's where we're going to end this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that seems like, that I didn't realize we were going to go so long just on Guadosalam.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was thinking about it, and I was like, well...
This is the right call.
There's like 20 minutes to get through it, but there's a lot to unpack.
I know.
There's a whole lot.
Yeah, this is so story heavy.
Yeah. And even the next episode, we're just going to do the far plane. Like, it literally is just one scene. But it has so much in it that I was like, we're going to need a whole episode just to talk about it.
There's a whole lot. I played through that thinking that that's where the episode would end just because it's we didn't do a whole lot this episode, but it's so dense that we had to talk about it. That
Yeah,
I went through
right.
all the Farplane stuff and went to like the next area, and then I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, wait, there's so much fucking shit to talk about.
There is, yeah.
Well, it's like 7 had kind of a more real life analog to everywhere we were going. It was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this is like a church. This is just a Japanese like town. This is just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
normal town. This is like a normal farm town. Like, and like these are normal monsters, and everyone like dresses like normal people.
Once again, I cannot wait till we get to 8. And
Oh
so
my
we're just
God,
like,
yeah.
oh, it literally is like apartment buildings and trains
Yep.
and things like that, like at bars. Like,
But this is just the most like otherworldly. Like everything is very more abstracted.
yeah.
Abstract kind of high fantasy design. And
Yeah.
so there's everything is just like there's a lot, and
Yeah.
plus the voice acting, of course, adds a whole nother layer.
And it's not European high fantasy necessarily. I'd call it moist fantasy because everything looks very damp in this game.
It's true.
they like their wooder.
Dewy.
They like their wooder.
Very dewy.
Very, very dewy.
We
He
mentioned-
beat Truman, I hear. Ha-cha-cha-cha. There you go.
Boo.
I like that everyone's wearing swimsuit material in these games.
Oh, I thought
or
you were
in this
talking
game.
about us right now, and I was
Oh,
like,
no, no,
that
no,
is
no,
how we
no.
podcast.
I mean, if you are, God bless. But,
I swear you were about to say swimsuit material.
yeah, no, swimsuit material.
Yeah,
no,
you
that's
need-
in
you
Final
need-
Fantasy 10 too.
I was like,
Dress fierce.
I was gonna say you need that to beat Diamond Weapon.
I don't mean to be gross, but
please
my
do.
first reaction was like, oh, everyone's wearing like swimsuit material because it's like a super like islandy, archipelago-y
humid.
kind of world.
Yeah.
And then my next thought right after that was like, everyone has yeast infections.
yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, take off your wet bathing
Yeah.
suit. It's making
Please.
me so uncomfortable.
It is self-care. Please do it.
Well, that's a terrible thing to end.
No, that's the perfect way
Yeah,
to
that's
end.
pretty perfect for this podcast.
So you're the podcast that you're on, that you're a part of, is like
Mm-hmm.
a I don't want to say what's a nice place to go eat. What's better than an Olive Garden?
It's a nice. I like Olive
Anything?
Garden.
Oh, okay. Your podcast is the Olive Garden, and ours is like the Taco Bell that might be open. Like,
It's the-
you're
it's
like
the
the
Taco
lights
Bell-
aren't on, but I do see that there's a car in the drive-through. I think it's open.
I mean, I'd rather go to Taco Bell.
Yeah. Ours is like the Taco Bell where most of the time you go, it's shitty, but one time you went and they made it really well.
And you were really
you keep
high, but you're
going.
pretty sure they made it well too.
And but you're like, yeah, it's pretty good. So I'll try it again because it's close.
It's our podcast is the McDonald's on Gray's Ferry. That's right by where I take Alex home at after the podcast. And sometimes we go to it before I drop him off. And if we don't, I certainly go to it afterwards. And it's sketch. And that's our podcast. And the reason I bring that up is that you can leave all of your like gross rappers and fucking and like references on our podcast. Just the real scummy one. So that's a great way to end our podcast.
Hell yeah.
No, but yeah, thanks again for coming on. Like
Oh my God, yeah.
I think
No.
about a year ago, I guess we probably just like discovered. Probably because you mentioned us, because I'm always like stalking. Like, I wonder who's like heard us so far. And then,
Yeah.
It's like, there's another Final Fantasy podcast happening
Yeah, I
right
think
now.
I mentioned you guys on the show at some point. 'cause I
On
was
the
like, oh, I
episode
was-
that you guys
yeah.
went to June on, is that one.
I love
Nice.
listening to it because it was like you're kind of going through this a little slower, and I think you're also like I don't know a quarantine hiatus.
I am hiatusing, yeah.
But-
It was, I don't know. I have not been in the headspace to record stuff lately,
That's
so
fine. It's
I
tough,
appreciate
yeah.
you guys
It's
having me
very
on because it's
hard.
been literally months since I recorded or anything.
But every time I listened, because it was behind, I was like, oh, I wish we talked about that. That's so
Well,
insightful.
So like for our listener, like, and one of the reasons that I do like suggest that people go listen to the Those Who Fight podcast is that like, it's like I said at the beginning. Imagine if we knew what we were talking about. You know what I mean? Because like, when you guys would do the podcast, you'd be like have all this information about like who designed this monster and the date that this came out and like all of the stuff that was happening at the time, and we're just like, haha, Sephiroth caked up, haha. Like,
I just remember listening to one of the episodes and you were talking about like Sakaguchi and like where the live stream came from and like the religious like connotations of it all.
yeah,
and I was
his
just
mom
like,
had just passed away when they were working on 6. I remember that.
yeah, and I just remember hearing that and being like, holy shit, I don't think we've ever used the name Sakaguchi once on our Final Fantasy podcast. Like, what the fuck is
You
wrong
said
with us?
Sakaguchi gang once, I think.
yeah, there's like a Gucci gang.
I think it was only after that though, because like, it was fresh in my mind.
But yeah, like approaching 7 from like a place of like I did not have a religious background growing up, but like listening to those who fight from like the perspective of, if I'm not mistaken, like someone who grew up with a Jewish background. It was
I
super
grew up with
fast.
like an atheist background, but like my family is Jewish.
Okay, but yeah, like that kind of the insight. That,
I'm a non-practicing.
but
I like my religion like I like my podcast.
but having that like reference point, like it was really fascinating. Kind of like a lot of even just like even the naming conventions and stuff.
Yeah, I think
was
7 is
super
like the
interesting.
most Jewish Final Fantasy.
I guess we never like brought up the name Sephiroth or where that comes
Yeah,
from. We were
yeah.
just like,
We may have on like the
Sephiroth.
last episode or something. Like,
He shit out his doo-doo ass.
yeah,
like,
Meanwhile, I'm like, man, I wish I'd thought of Sakaguchi Gang.
I just want to say, okay, Aaron, since you fight all the way through 10, I feel like you'll appreciate this, and they haven't yet, so they don't know like the names or anything. But like, we ended our last episode of 7 is called Doo-Doo Ass, and then our last episode
Famously.
of 1 is what something doo-doo again, or it's another like butt joke. But the last one of this, Poo Yevon.
Nice. Well, I actually,
time.
I demand to be on a 12 episode.
Absolutely.
That's my only like request.
hell yeah.
You honestly
I
can be on
love
any
12
episode
so
you like
much.
at this point.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I love 12. 12 is fantastic, and
Fantastic.
I feel like that's like one where they brought back, to me anyway. I could be like, I feel like I give 12 maybe. Like I look at it more positively than neutral sometimes because I like it so much. But I feel like it's one where they brought back like, oh yeah, what if we had a fucking message also? Like, what if we took like a real strong stance on something? And I like that about it.
Yeah.
Also, it has some Coen Brothers-y vibes.
Oh, hell
where
yeah.
like they're just like, we built this bad guy up for like 30 hours of gameplay, and guess what? We killed them off screen. Fuck you. And you're like, what? I thought that was like the encounter that we were building up to this whole time.
I mean,
and they were like,
if you guys want to do a Coen Brothers podcast,
oh
down.
my
I'm
god,
so fucking down.
I love
I just
Coen
rewatched A Serious Man last weekend.
Really? Ah,
Yeah, I love that movie.
Hell yeah.
so good. What's oh god, there's a movie by them I really really like, and it's an older one that they did, and I can't remember the fucking name of it, and I always want to say Melrose Place, but that is not it.
Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing. Yeah, thank you. I'm always like, what's the one that sounds like Melrose Place?
I'm on it. I got it. Miller's Crossing.
that's like the diner in South Philly.
Yo, hell
It
yeah.
is.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
I never put that together. Anyway, that's weird. Anyway,
Not Miller, Melrose.
yeah,
I think-
Melrose.
I
That
think
was
you've-
originally Goose's name when I found her.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When they asked me like, "What's the name?" I'm like, "Cause I just didn't really name her yet." But when I brought her to the vet, I'm like, Melrose.
That's awesome. That's some good
Deep goose lore.
Yeah, deep goose lore. I love
Finally,
it.
a goose drop.
Goose drops.
All right.
Yeah. Do you have anything? I mean,
Yeah, anything
where
you-
can people find you? I'm not saying like,
Oh,
you're,
where
you're-
can
yeah, like
People find me.
yeah, like where can you buy your weed? No, that.
Legally, I can't talk about where I work.
That's fine.
But no, I'm on Twitter at KAOPHYRE. The game I'm working on is Slipstream Scalawags.
Love it.
It's
Could have been live stream scallywags, but
yeah. Well, I didn't name it.
Also, that would probably
So-
get a copyright strike. of some kind.
What?
Yeah. But there's a gameplay trailer on the website. We were working on putting out a new demo, but 2020 didn't go great with that. We were like set to go to E3. We were like
No.
gonna get we were gonna get dev passes and everything, and then that didn't happen. So, but there's always next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Nomura.
sin doesn't let up. But that's thanks again. I'm trying.
Yeah, I really
God,
appreciate you
thank
coming
you.
on.
Yeah,
This
thank
is
you so much.
fun.
No announcements from us.
No announcements. I mean,
I
You
have
have
an
an
announcement. Yeah. Yeah, so coming up in
Oh,
November,
yeah.
on November 6th, Friday, November 6th, there is the Speed Souls Charity Marathon.
Remember the 6th of November.
Of course, as we all know. And at the pretty late in the day, Eastern Standard Time, on the 7th, on November 7th, I will be doing a race of Demon Tower, the mini roguelike that's within the game Night in the Woods. I'm going to be doing a race with a friend of the show, Ashwin, for the Speed Souls Charity Marathon. So
That's gonna be dope as
yeah,
fuck.
it's going to be really fun. It's a really cool speed game. The Speed Souls community is really great, and they're raising money for Save the Children.
I will make sure to watch that. If I have to stay at work because it's happening while I'm there, I will stay at work and watch
Well,
it.
it's too sweet of you.
Well, like, it runs like less than 20 minutes, right?
Depending. Since it's a marathon run, like the world record is like under 10 minutes, like just under 10 minutes. But usually I kind of hover between like 14 and 17 minutes. But
I
like,
think it's pretty safe to say you'll get world record on this.
I might go for it. But with this, I have to go for good ending because we're probably going to have incentives of, like,
okay, yeah.
Save the cat versus, save the frames.
The pale cat.
Yeah, so there's a good ending and a bad ending. So depending on how many donations come in for them, we'll see which one we're going for.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I like it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can leave us a voicemail at 530-MATERIA. We've gotten some text from someone who's been working their way through 7 for the first time, and they're just having a real rough time, and it's been really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with these texts, but I appreciate you kind of keeping us in the loop of where you are.
No, keep them coming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe we'll read them out during a segment on an episode sometime.
Shout out to Creepy Dave for the voicemail from the Holland Tunnel last week.
Yep.
That was
Hell yeah.
delightful. Thanks to Night of the Round for the theme music. Brutal as always. We should be having one of the Justins. The lead Justin.
Lead Justin. There's lead Justin and Rhythm Justin.
Justin 1, not to be confused with Justin A.
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, Justin Taylor should be coming on in a month or two, I think, to talk. I'm not sure what yet. We're deciding. He'll be on this season.
Okay.
And thank you to Masashi Hamauzu.
Wait, hold on. I think you mean thank you to Masashi Hamauzu Nobu Uematsu Junior Nakano
for the game music. Speaking of backgrounds, I'm still uploading field recordings to our YouTube channel because I, for some reason, started doing it when we were on the boat, on episode 3 or whatever, and ever since then I've just been sharing all those ambient loops to our YouTube. If you just want to chill out and feel like you're on anywhere in Spira.
Yeah.
I am still going to those videos and posting the comment first on any video that doesn't have comments on it.
I appreciate the sex bots that are trying to that are commenting on it.
And leaving timestamps, no less.
I mean, this part was awesome.
Yeah.
Leave us a review on iTunes. We still don't have as much as Those Who Fight, as far as I know.
Leave them a review.
We waited till the end of the podcast to make it a competition.
We have reviews.
Yes.
Don't
look
at them. That's so sweet of people.
Everyone rate Those Who Fight 5 stars and leave a glowing review because that podcast really deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you liked our first season and don't care for FFX, why are you listening to this season? But if you are and getting a little tired, go listen to Those Who Fight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff to catch up on. Oh yeah, we are every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. We don't Twitch very much, but we're brainstorming some things to do. So
We've been twitching on our own stuff a lot. So follow us on our individual Twitches.
Yeah.
And twitch.tv/CarlGerm and Twitch TV
/Twirlin Curtis
and twitch.tv/Malform,
which is MAL4M.
Right.
But yeah, we have a Discord. It's a little fun. Yes, you probably heard last week. Go to our Twitter bio to find it.
Coming soon, Minecraft.
Maybe.
That server.
Maybe. Whatever, I'm tired of y'all. Goodbye.
Thanks again, Aaron.
Thank you so much, Aaron.
Of course.
Hello,
Oh,
Fish.
he's so loud.
Fish is here.
He might not have eaten yet, so that's why he's being loud. Fish, do you want to marry Seymour?
Oh, he said no.
Fish?
Do you hear that?
I thought that was one of my cats, and I took my headphones for a second. I'm like, who the fuck is meowing?